Good morning. Today is going to be a historic day again. 4 years ago, my organization, founder of my organization, came here, filed a complaint against Harvard. We were able, with great support from Asian American communities, we were able to elevate this dialogue from academic debate to a national and international stage. In recent months, I think we really appreciate a lot of media coverage, a lot of national support and national attention. But in recent months, I think what is happening is this dialogue stay in the narrowly focused areas. What's morality of affirmative action, race-based affirmative actions, privileged families versus disadvantaged families. But is this topic just about this narrow issue? So here, this is the first national conference on the equal education rights. Really, we want to challenge our nation, challenging all the policy makers, all the educators, and also all the participants of this dialogue, media, to really think bigger, to look at the issue broadly in a very in-depth way.
What is it as an AACE board member, I believe, people always ask me, what's your organization? What are your basic principles? Yes, I am proud to say our basic principles are not race-tagged education for Asian Americans, Black Americans, or anybody. We want equal education rights for everybody. Does that preclude poor economic, social background children? No, we do not want to exclude them. We want to include them. How do we include everybody? By only focusing on the root cause of the problem. Why are we all the time arguing and talking about how these colleges are grading and giving grade points to an applicant? Instead, should we all not start taking a step back and looking at what has transpired these colleges, in fact, to make that step? K-12 is the key. Focusing on better education, good education is the basic principle that we should all be focusing on and operating on.
I think by sharing best practices, if I hear that what I am doing is going to harm me personally or harm my family, and I don't change my ways, then I should face consequences until I've changed my ways. We have seen, for example, in 1965, before the Surgeon General went on TV and said that smoking killed you, something like 70% of American males smoked. That is very low right now. Before Mothers Against Drug Driving took and did such wonderful work in bringing the reality that the driving while intoxicated kill people and will kill you as well, people used to do these things and create great havoc, but we have had great change in our culture as a result of these messages percolating through. And I think if we have the same messages come through that, look, an intact family and emphasizing education is going to be good for your children, I think that actually would benefit and would create the diversity that we seek.
So the first thing is to understand that we need to have a distinction between public and private institutions, government institutions, and institutions that exist in free civil society. There is, I see no basis, even though the courts, as we've all discussed, have disagreed with me, I don't see any basis to say that a public institution, like the University of Texas or others, should be able to give anybody an advantage or disadvantage based on race. The fact of the matter is, I think it may come from good intentions, because the reality is, for most of our history, we had policies that were against people based on their race, and we continue to see the negative effects of that. And I do think lots of people think we need to make amends for that. There is actually some evidence that suggests there are benefits from all sorts of diversity within student body. In particular, it militates against, for instance, groupthink. that you have people who are all the same or very similar together, and they don't see preconceptions challenged because they all share those preconceptions. This certainly is much deeper than race, goes far beyond race. I would argue that ideological diversity, philosophical diversity is more important than race. But I do actually think there could be some benefits to saying I encounter in college people with lots of different backgrounds, which includes race and ethnicity. It includes socioeconomic status. I don't know.
Diversity is not our mission. It shouldn't be. We provide the funds and the resources for communities to educate our kids, not to pick who's going to sit next to whom in a classroom based on their skin color. But that's precisely what we're doing. And I would urge all of those in the political class to give it up, because the American people do not want us picking winners and losers on the basis of skin color or on the basis of where our ancestors came from. And if you want a mission to pursue in the next few years, get involved and help the group known as Washington Asians for Equality to overcome this terrible initiative.